Hi, I'm Amy, and I am one of the workers here at the wool mill. Can't really tell you what title I have because I wear many hats here. So today we're doing a little tutorial about our trio cowl kit. It's been very popular. It's this is the trio cowl, and it is made with our sport weight yarn, and these are 3 different tweeds. If you buy the kit, it'll come in a package like this, and you'll get the pattern and the yarn, and you have a choice of whether you want to purchase the needles or not. And it comes in a fun little package like this. Today, we're going to start with a cast on. And the cast on, there's lots of different cast-ons and getting to be more and more all the time. It's amazing to me when I look on videos of all the different ways to cast on. But today I'm just doing a pretty simple 2-tail cast on. And I am using some yarn that is kind of a leftover here at the factory, but it's close to the sport weight that is actually in the trio cowl. And I have size 5 circular needles. And one thing I want to tell you about circular needles is in the pattern it says when it asks for the requirements, it says circular knitting needles 29 inches in length or shorter, size 5. Some people, if they've gotten concerned if they didn't get exactly the size 29 inch, but when circulars, you can, the most important thing is they're not too long. You want them to be long enough so that you can get all of your stitches on and maneuver your stitches throughout very easily. But if you get them too long, then your work is spread out too far, and you're stretching your yarn as you go along, and you don't want to do that. So that's a tip, is that circular needles, the required length or less. So I'm going to move the camera around now and have you kind of look over my shoulder as we go through this 2-tail cast on. Okay, so we're back. We have I have a cake of the gypsum yarn, which is the lightest of the trio. And I did want to bring to your attention that this is all natural. There's no dye in any of this. This is a light gray plied with a white. And the other 2 gray combinations of tweeds are natural as well. So if you worry about having dyes next to your skin, there's not an issue here. Also about this yarn is it's a sport weight, and you can purchase it individually on our website as well. It's under our tweeds, under the sport weight. So we're going to talk about casting on. Now this pattern doesn't call for a specific cast on, just we need to cast on 126 stitches. So if you're not lucky enough to have a ball winder, which if you're going to do much knitting, a ball winder is a great investment, because your better yarns are sold in the hanks like we sell them. But if you wound it in a ball and you only have one end, I'm going to talk about doing a 2-tail cast on. That's my favorite cast on as of right now. And so what you do is you're going to, go back further into here to you think you have 126 stitches and make your slip knot and then start casting on. But I have been there many times when I did that method that way, and I got to where I had 120 stitches on my needle and ran out of tail, and man, is that discouraging. So I'll give you a little tip as to something you can do to avoid that. So you go in a ways, you're going to make your slip knot, and you're going to put it on your needle. And you're going to go 10 wraps around your needle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll go, whoops. We're going to go to here. So we're going to say that this is the distance for 10 stitches. So you can do several things. You could measure this amount and then do 12 times this measurement. Or if you're like me, you will just kind of estimate. So I would go, I'm going to do 6 lengths of this, which will give me 60, and then I'm going to double it and add a little bit. So that's 1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then add some for good measure. Then I would put my slip knot in and then start doing my two-tail method. Now, since I have a ball winder and I have a cake here, I am going to do another method which doesn't require any measuring, and you don't even have to crush your fingers. That you hope that you get the right amount of yarn in there. So I'm going to take the thread from the outside of the cake. I'm going to put a slip knot on, put that on my needle. Then I'm going to take the thread from the inside of the cake, get a little extra there, make a slip knot, and then put that on my needle, snug it up. Then I'm going to capture these tails down here, and I have two slip knots. Then I'm going to put my fingers in here and start my two-tail cast-on method. So when you do that, put your thumb and your index finger together. You have these in your palm of your hand. Slip that in between those two, spread out and bring it through the middle. In here, palm holds it, spread those out and slide down through the middle. So when you do that, then to start the cast on, you're going to come to the outside of your thumb and then to the outside of the first finger, then through that loop, and then pull it up. Now you don't want to make it too tight. You want to cast on fairly loose. The most important thing is that you do it consistently throughout these 126 stitches that you're going to put on. And we just keep doing that. You know, I have we have our sample of the trio cowl, and then we had a customer who brought hers in to show us, and we've had some pictures on that people sent us on Facebook. I always love it when people complete their projects and send us a picture of it. So when you complete yours, please send us a picture. It's very gratifying to us. But the differences in everybody's knitting is really interesting to see how that works out with the trio cowl. Because some people knit very tight. I've had some people say, "Oh, I have enough yarn to do a couple more." Some people, you know, knit very loose, have a very loose cowl when they get done. It's all depends, and you know that's why everybody encourages you to do the gauge. And I would encourage you to do a gauge if you were doing some fitted project, like a sweater or something. You should most certainly do your gauge, because that's a lot to knit, and you want it to fit according to the pattern. But for a cowl, it's not real significant if it's a little looser or a little tighter. I don't do gauge when I have when I have the option not to. I'm not a good sampler either, but if you are, more power to you. The tweed yarn is made with rambouillet. Rambouillet sheep are real prevalent in Wyoming. The Basque people who settled here from Spain and France, they brought the rambouillet over, and people would say that I'm saying it wrong, but that's the way people in Wyoming say the French name. The sheep are fitted for our climate. We get a lot of snow here. Well, not a lot of snow, but it's cold and windy in the winters. Springs can be pretty harsh. We really don't have summer until we get till about the 1st of June. You don't dare plant anything outside until Mother's Day. And our elevation's pretty high. So rambouillet is one of the breeds of sheep that does well in our climate. One of the things about them is they have a nice fine micron count of wool, which makes it soft enough for to be next to your skin. Wear this cowl next to your skin and it's not going to be itchy for you. When we get the gray yarns, they're a combination of black and white. So the gray thread in this 2-ply yarn is from about 90% of white wool and 10% black wool mixed together. All right, so I have 126 stitches on my needle, and I am going to cut one tail. I'm going to choose to cut the one from the outside of the cake. And so now I have the inside. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to join this in the round. So when you join it in the round, you've got to make sure that you don't have any twists in your yarn. So how I do that, I hold this up here and I make sure that the end part of my cast on, this is going to be the end of your project, the edge, is all in the center all the way around. And then when I have it all in the center all the way around, and keep check on that. We have some other projects like the CNC cowl. That's something that's people have a lot of difficulty trying to get that all so there's no twists in it. So you're going to take your first stitch. I don't like to have a lot of ends to work in when I get done, so I try to weave in my ends as I go. And I should have put a place marker there, but we'll just pretend like I did and go on. And we're going to get all of these ends in and go around and knit. So you're going to knit one full round, and then you're going to, the pattern has you knit around and then purl around, and you're going to do that sequence. Oh, you're going to 3 times. Oh, knit, purl 1 round, knit 1 round. That's right. So they have you start off with a purl. Anyway, I'm going to put this aside and we're going to talk about this little sample that I've already started working on. We're going to get, so this is the purl around, knit around. We'll do 3 of those. And then we're going to get where we actually have the fun of where the pattern begins. Now, if you look at your pattern, it says that you're going to, on round 1, you're going to knit 3. So that's the 3 knits. And then you're going to yarn over, which adds a stitch. And then you're going to slip a stitch purlwise, then knit 2 together, slip that purled stitch over. So that takes out two stitches, one with the knit together and one with passing that over. And then you're going to yarn over again, which will give you, will cancel out your increases and decreases. So when you get to the end of the what you're knitting, you're going to still be, you know, after this row, you're going to have still have 126 stitches in. So let me show you that. We're going to knit 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to yarn over. We're going to slip purlwise. Then we're going to knit 2 together. Bring that way out there. Then we're going to pass that slip stitch over. And we're going to yarn over again and then back to knitting 3. So that has given people a lot of problems, but it's really an easy stitch when you understand it. And it makes that kind of nice pattern there. The pattern says then that you're going to, on round 2, you are going to knit. And this is another thing that trips people up. It says, and remaining even numbered rounds you knit. And then it talks through about rows 3 to 6 and 7, and then it goes on to 9. And I've had several calls of people saying, what happened to row 8? There's no row 8. Well, if you think up here above, it says all even rounds you knit. So that's what happened to row 8. After you knit 3 sections or 3 series of rows, 6 rows, or rows 3 to 6, then you're going to change and sew that it's offset. And you just do that by the first row, or row 3 starts with knitting 3 stitches, and then doing your yarn over and your slip, knit 2 together, pass over. When you want to offset it, then you're going to start with the yarn over. You're just going to do the yarn over, and then the slip, the knit 2, and then the yarn pass over, and then the yarn over, and then the knit 3, and that's going to offset and create your pattern. So I'm just going to let you go on from that point. This is a fun pattern. Now, I've had people who have called and said, you know, I enjoy doing that so much. I would like to do another one, but I want some color. Well, if you want to do another one of these, a great idea is to look at our Cody yarns. Cody is a 2-ply sport weight, and you can pick out your own 3 colors that you would like to add and purchase them separately since you already have the pattern. Another option that we have is we have what we call our gradients, and we have the gradients, which is a base, a white yarn that is dyed. They're all dyed the same color, but the white yarn is dyed, then the medium gray, and then a darker gray, and they're all dyed the same color, but since the grays are gradient, it gives you a really cool gradient look, and we have that in Storm and in Rose and in Leah Green. So thanks for joining me. We will chat again next time, and maybe next time we'll talk about no, it's not Wi-Fi, it's yarn in front. Have a great day. Bye.